Life is hard. Life can beat you down. You feel like your prayers aren't being answered. Tragedy comes, pain comes, and after a while you feel your faith just getting thin. You still believe in God, you still love God, but you're tired. And you start looking at the situation more than you start looking at God. And you measure your future by what's happening right now. And acting like this hard season is the whole story. And you start forgetting. And that's one of the most dangerous things that you can do is to forget. Forget what God's done. Forget how many times He's already carried you. Forgetting the prayers that He already answered. The doors that He opened. The ways that He provided, the things that He did in the past. When life gets weary, one of the most important things that you can do to strengthen your faith is to remember. To remember the works of God. Bring them back in front of your eyes like a photo album. Go over them. Rehearse them. Pray them. Say them out loud. Put your mind back on the record of God's faithfulness. Psalm 77 is one of the clearest examples of doing this. And the writer of this psalm is not in a light season. He's distressed, troubled, restless, confused. He says in Psalm 77, 7 through 9, "Will the Lord reject us forever? Will He be favorable no more? Has His loving kindness vanished forever? Does His promise fail for generations? Has God forgotten to be gracious? Has He in anger withheld His compassion?" That's not churchy language. That is raw. Somebody who's going through the fire. And then the turn happens. He says in Psalm 77, 11 through 12, "I will remember the Lord's deeds, for I will remember your wonders of old. I will also meditate on all your work and consider your doings." And later in the psalm, he starts rehearsing the mighty acts of God, especially how God made a way through the sea for His people. This guy's weak. He's troubled. He's full of questions. What does he do? He remembers. He doesn't pretend that his pain isn't real. He doesn't fake a smile or manufacture some kind of plastic positivity. He brings back into his mind evidence of God's faithfulness. This is what God has done. And that's how faith gets strengthened in your life. Because faith isn't strengthened by staring harder at your problem or your misery. Faith is strengthened by looking steadily at the Lord and what He's done. That's one of the best ways to do it. Moses did it. In Exodus 32, after Israel sinned with the golden calf, Moses interceded before the Lord. And what did he do? He appealed to God's past action and covenant. He said basically, "These are the people that you brought out of Egypt with great power. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel. Remember what you said. Remember what you did." Now, Moses wasn't trying to manipulate God, but Moses was standing on what God already revealed about Himself. He was basically affirming God's character. Daniel did the same thing in Daniel 9. He's confessing sin. He's pleading for mercy. And he says in Daniel 9:15, "Now, Lord our God, who have brought your people out of the land of Egypt with a mighty hand, and have gotten yourself renown as it is today." Daniel reaches back to the Exodus. Why? Because he looks at the ruins around him. He needs something to anchor himself in something bigger than the ruins. And maybe you need to do that right now, because maybe all you can look at is the ruins. There's just chaos all around you, and there's devastation, and there's darkness. But if you look at all that and not the Lord, your faith will get thinner, and it will start to wear out. So just interrupt it. Just say, "No, I'm not going to look at my ruins right now, or these troubles. I'm going to remember. Lord, help me remember. Let me remember when I thought I was finished, but you sustained me. Let me remember when I didn't see a way and somehow you made a way out. Let me remember when you answered prayer, when I was guilty and you still showed mercy. Let me remember when I was in the dark and I was hopeless and you didn't abandon me. Lamentations 3 says it beautifully. Jeremiah is surrounded by devastation. It's heavy. It's grief laden, and yet in Lamentations 3:21 through 23, he says, "This I recall to my mind, therefore I have hope. It is because of the Lord's loving kindness that we are not consumed, because his compassion doesn't fall. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. This I recall to my mind." Hope didn't just drift into his mind by accident. He called truth back into view. He chose to remember what the Lord did. Because when you're weary, feelings are loud. Your fears are loud. Disappointments, they're loud. That's when you need to just bring it back. Bring it back to what is true and what the Lord did. Psalm 143:5, David says, "I remember the days of old. I meditate on all your doings. I contemplate the work of your hands." David is deliberate. He says, "I need strength. So I am going back over the record. I'm going back, seeing what you did before. I'm going to go back over the evidence. I'm going to calm my soul down. I'm going to go back over the history of God, the photo album of the Lord." That's a good practice. Just bringing it back to what God has done. So don't revisit the ruins. Don't revisit the disappointments. Remember what God has done. Remember how he's come through for you in your life, and how he will again. Hebrews 13:8 says, "Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever." The God who made a way is still the God who makes a way for you today. The God who sustained David is still the God who sustains you. The God who brought Israel through the sea is still God. The God who raised Jesus from the dead isn't weak. He still has his resurrection power. It doesn't ignore your pain. I know you're going through tough times and it sucks. But when life gets weary, don't just tell God what is wrong, but tell him what he's done. Something like, "Lord, I remember your faithfulness. I remember that you've carried people before. I remember that you delivered David. I remember that you heard Hannah. I remember that you restored Peter. I remember that you sustained Paul. I remember that you brought your people through the sea, that you didn't spare your own son, but you gave him up for us all. I remember what you've done for me. I remember the doors that you opened. I remember the sins that you forgave. I remember the nights that you got me through. I remember the times I almost broke and somehow didn't. I remember the mercy I didn't deserve, the strength that didn't come from me. God, do it again. Strengthen me again. Help me trust you again." That's powerful. That's powerful. You are putting your heart back into alignment with reality, and the reality is this: God has a track record. God is faithful. Psalm 9:10 says, "Those who know your name will put their trust in you, for you, Lord, have not forsaken those who seek you." Why don't they trust him? Why do they trust him? Because they know his name. They know his character. They know what he's like. They know the kind of God he's shown himself to be. That's why it's so good to remember. Because weary people, they need more than bumper sticker slogans. They need something to hang their faith on. They need history, anchors, something more solid than their emotions at 2 a.m. So when you get tired, when you're seeing all the pain and darkness around you, just remember what the Lord has done in Scripture. Go back and read the things that he has done and the things he's done in your own life. The cross says he loves you. The resurrection says he's not defeated. Your survival, he's already purchased. He's already carried you farther than you even know. So just recall and remember, and let the memory of his faithfulness just bring you back. Let the God who helped you make you firm, because he's still God. He's still near, and he's still working, and he's still worthy of your trust. So just open up that photo album and remember what God has done, because he has good things for you.